Okay, I've got it all booting up here real quick. I want to flip it around so I can show you what's going on. So this morning I got an email from Magic Sorter. They were asking for my device ID and stuff, so I sent them a picture and they got me added. So as you can see, it looks like it was successful because this is the first time it's been doing any updates or any of these messages. And earlier when I had the camera film in my back here, it was me just kind of getting connected to the wireless, which is why it's online. So next thing I'm going to try to do here is pull up all the set information plus update the touchscreen and the robot firmware. It looks like that might be out of date now. So this thing is getting ready to reboot. So just gonna kind of watch this because this is the first time I've made it this far while working with this. So I'm kind of interested in the whole process, and maybe some of you out there are having similar issues or whatnot. So we're gonna film this and just kind of see what we discover. I mean, this may be a useless video to some of you, but maybe it's useful to one person who's going through the same thing I am. Oops, looks like I have to acknowledge this message here. Language recognition. Okay. So if we hit custom, there we go. Look at that. Look at all the different sets. Oops, sorry, it's so blurry. There we go. I'm gonna flip the camera around. Apologies. That's all the different sets I've been looking for. So now, if I want to work on a very specific set, I should be able to select that set and it should be able to organize alphabetically. So we're going to give this a shot. So I'm going to pause it for a minute and then I'll come back. Sorry, I'm not very good at editing yet. I'm still trying to make sure this works before I work on my editing skills. So let's jump back to this. Okay, I'm back, and it appears I must have already put away the Theros set, so I've gone ahead and gone back into custom and selected Ikoria, Lair of the Behemoths. And then as you can see, I have loaded the first two rows. These are the feeder rows apparently. So I've already loaded these up. I think these can host up to 250 cards in each pocket. Now, I obviously didn't have 3,000 cards of this set at the moment, so I just kind of put some stuff in here because at this point I'm just testing, and I'm learning this, so I'm just trying to film the process so that some of y'all are kind of on the fence about whether you want to pick one up or not. Maybe we'll go into depth here together because I'm obsessed with this kind of stuff, with learning it and seeing if we can perfect the process. So here we go. We're going to send the command, and since I plugged a USB dongle inside to make it so that I could have a wireless mouse and a keyboard, my touchscreen appears to be disabled, which is fine. I don't mind because I'm not accidentally hitting stuff. So what I'm looking to do here is custom, which is Ikoria. I'm on organized. I don't have a rule file set yet, so I'm going to figure out how to establish that and what that is. But right now I'm just going to try to do A and Z alphabet sorting, and it has a mail option, so maybe I'm going to get an email over the port. I don't know where that email is going to go, but that's why I'm curious, because maybe it's going to go to my personal email or my store email. I don't know yet, so let's go ahead and find out. There it is, it turned on. And when I say I'm obsessed, I mean, I am like super curious about this. I have been dreaming about something like this for 10 years now. Ever since I owned an LGS in the North Dallas area, I have wanted one of these for a very, very long time. So it's kind of cool to see that there's all kinds of different manufacturers of card sorters out there now. Okay, I noticed that did not pick up. So that could be one of two things. I need to adjust my arm, or I just need to be patient. Okay, so one of the things I want to do is, because this was doing this before the subscription, so I want to go to my logging screen, and it says card not found. So this is giving me whole new errors. So I wonder if I have to do some firmware updates. So we're gonna find out. Now the original owner of this did tell me that he says that he believed the camera was not working, therefore it might be what's producing these camera issues, camera not found info. So it may or may not be a bad camera, I'm not sure. So we're gonna find out. I'm gonna keep doing this because it might just mean that the camera needs to be calibrated too. And notice how it's bending the side of the card when it goes down. I'm gonna show you here in a minute. This is something I'm gonna try and fix as well. Watch right here on the right hand side. Boom, it's hitting that post. And see it? I know that they're using sticky back tape here. I'm gonna try and get it real quick. Boom, oops. But see, it's gonna expand again. Now it's not hitting. So I'm gonna replace these little trays inside. There's a 3D printed version out there that's better. So I'm gonna try and pick that up. I think it's like 30 bucks. And it doesn't have the little side rails, instead they're corner. But I'm not gonna worry about that problem right now. I wanna get this thing working properly. Okay, so now it does 10 cards in a row and it'll stop. So right now it's saying invalid cards in a row. So it's the same message whether I had the subscription or not. So, but it's coming up saying camera this time, whereas it was not saying camera before. Before it was saying cannot query the API server. So I'm gonna shut the camera off here because we're not really gonna be able to show you much more. I'm gonna dig into this a little bit more and see if I can find some of these error codes and see if I can figure this out. Because I have a feeling it's camera calibration, not necessarily camera issue. Because it seems like it's at least trying to work. So anyway, stay tuned to the channel, and yeah, we're gonna get this thing sorted out. And hopefully it ain't gonna cost a bunch of money. Appreciate y'all watching, and y'all have a good night. Okay, so I was able to update the firmware on this because it did appear to be out of date. And I know sometimes if you don't keep the software up to date, it can kind of create bugs. And then I also know sometimes if you do the update to firmware, it can also create bugs. So you kind of have to kind of work through both. So up here I noticed that it already pulled up the working set. So I'm just gonna go through, and it appears like all the new sets are like here, group 1, then group 2 is the next older set, the next and next. Then all the really old stuff was all the way back in here. So I've noticed with Ikoria, it appeared to be in like group 4, I think it was. Battle Bond. No, maybe it's newer than that. Right there. So it's group 3, Ikoria, close. And as you can see, if you look back in the previous video, it was like a 3.7 version, and then something else up here, but it was not 5.3. And I noticed I'm still online, so I have now rebooted, and it looks like the settings have stayed the same, so it's custom. I don't know what the nearest or fixed means for assignment yet, but we're gonna learn all this together, A to Z. So it's paused at the moment. It's set to organize, so we're going to send the command again. Can't issue an organize command while the other commands are running. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop. Send. And we're looking for the status change down here. Sorry about the wonky camera view here. I'm going to invest in a nice tripod here eventually. And what I'm looking for is that message to go idle, and it did, and boom, there it is. Lights out, camera, the robots went back to idle mode. So we're gonna go to organize again, fixed, yes, Oh, we want to change that too. Let's go to lightly played. English A to Z, Ikoria, and let's send this. Let's wake this guy up. Light will come on. Boom, there it is. And we already know it's going to try and sort cards, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm going to go back to the login screen, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to look for error messages. We're going to figure out what's wrong with this, one way or the other. Let's see what it's doing here real quick, and then we'll jump back to the screen. I think it's cool how it's shaking it off and only grabbing one card. However, it's still doing the card not found. So something is still awry here. So we're gonna do this 8 more times, and then it's gonna kind of stop itself and pause. So at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop the video and wait for this to be done, and then I'm gonna go into the camera calibration settings and see if I can figure this thing out. All right, so in testing for the camera, you go through the troubleshooting tab, and then there's a camera test, and it brings you up to this. You can hit that little black test button. It'll take a picture, and this is kind of what you're looking for. So, I mean, it's rather obvious that it can't sort 10 cards in a row because the camera is just not calibrated correctly. As you can tell, it is cutting off almost like this whole side of the card and bottom of the card over here. What I believe, I mean, this is just me kind of speculating here with barely any knowledge of this machine, but I believe what I would want to do is shrink this corner right here down to about here, and then get this thing cropped to right about the height of the card and the side of the card. Sorry if the lenses keep blurring, but I'm just trying to show you. And then you want it to be cropped along the bottom, and sorry for the crooked finger here, and right there. So you would want this more centered towards the card dimension itself, I would think. So that's what I'm trying to work on right here via the camera settings. And here in a minute, I'll go to this and show you. But again, this is just general knowledge, not really probably the correct knowledge. So like right here, card right crop, I went a little too far when I selected 580. So I'm gonna back off to 540, and I'm gonna hit save, go back over here to troubleshooting. And again, I mean, this is just me trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna back out of this camera. I'm gonna test and see if that did anything. So as you can see, it did something, but now it looks like it's just too far cropped to the right, but it's almost centered a little bit more than it was. So this is what I'm gonna be doing, is I'm gonna keep going back, toggle back and forth, test, see if I can get it kind of mostly centered as much as I can. And then we're gonna save this and see if we can go back and try to get it to sort and see if it can recognize the cards. But if that ends up not being the solution, by calibrating the camera and by, you know, setting the camera settings properly, then I'm going to have to, you know, send in some of these pictures and show what's going on and show some of the logging pictures and see if this is a further issue. Because for all I know, I could be doing this and it could still technically be a bad camera, but I don't know. This is just me kind of applying general industry knowledge to troubleshooting a machine like this. But we're going to keep tinkering with it and see if we can get this thing up and running. So So notice changing my camera settings, I was able to get it to recognize at least one card. And it organized Draneth Stinger. So I also noticed one other thing. It said I had one feeder tray. So what I did is I moved all the cards out of feeder tray 2. So I only have one feeder tray. So at this point, I'm just trying to eliminate any potential issues. So we're gonna watch and see what happens here. And what I'm looking for is this. Now it's coming up saying camera cannot capture a valid image, and it's going right back and says please contact customer support. So that's the second time I've seen this error message. So at this point, I'm going to see what I can do here. Calibration is complete. We're gonna say go ahead and get log. Log file was successfully sent. So, oops, sorry. So what I'm looking for now is to see if it actually got emailed to me. And that's the other thing I noticed, a little quick update since the last time I was kind of recording this. I did notice that when I was in the send command and when I was all done, it was asking about whether or not, oops, I keep dropping the camera. It was asking whether or not I wanted it emailed to me, and yes, it is coming in via email, so it's kind of cool. So that little issue is also fixed. So it looks like I just either might have a bad camera or these camera calibration settings are way off. Therefore, it can't recognize the set symbol. Therefore, it can't start organizing. So I think we're kind of down to either 1 or 2 or maybe no real monetary issues at all. So we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna look and see if I got that email log, and I'll send that over to support and see what they have to say. Thanks for watching. So upon troubleshooting this magic sorter as much as I could go tonight, I did discover that it's saying, hey, it's a camera issue, specifically reach out to customer support. So what I did is I was able to send the log and then attach it, and then I replied back to them. So hopefully I'll get a response from them either by morning, and when I wake up first thing in the morning, I can jump on here and see if it's calibration or if it is truly in fact a bad camera. So we've troubleshot as far as we can go. I feel pretty confident that it's going to be something simple, hopefully something inexpensive or no expense at all. So I'm really happy with the progress of where I've made with this tonight. I was able to get a lot of things updated and got a lot further than I ever have. So definitely the support help this morning and this afternoon has helped out quite a bit. So I'm gonna leave it on. It's currently online at the moment, and it's updated with firmware. I mean, it's ready to go, and its current action is in idle. So we're gonna leave it alone. I don't think they can probably connect to it remotely, but maybe they can, I don't know. But anyway, it's just gonna be sitting around and checking the phone probably about once an hour, every 30 minutes or so, and just seeing if there's a response back, because I'm super excited. I really wanna get into this. I wanna create some magic sorter content out here, because maybe some of y'all are on, like I said earlier in the video, like maybe some of y'all are on the fence about picking one of these up, but you've just been hearing horror stories. So my goal with this, with a little bit of electronics background, is to take something like this, learn a little bit more about it, maybe create a more user-friendly guide with this, and help help figure out what some of the problems are and where people are having it. Because with a technical background, this kind of stuff doesn't really scare me away from a product. In fact, it actually intrigues me more because I want to learn as much as I can learn about it. But anyway, until I get that reply, there's not going to be much more I can do, and I'm going to get back to card sorting. So I appreciate you all stopping by and checking out the videos and the content I've been posting lately. I'm trying to get more out there, trying to get better videos instead of just raw all the time. But I'm a fairly busy guy, so I just try to get the information out as quick as I can to you. So anyway, y'all have a good night. Thanks.